So you're thinking of buying in Connecticut and you want to buy in a town before it gets too expensive, not after. I'm Dave Jones with Dave Jones Realty, and today we're going to talk about 7 Connecticut towns that are about to take off for 2027, and the town at number 1 has already jumped 66% in 4 years, and it's still under $380,000. So let's go. Number 7, Southington. Median sales price last year was $421,000, up 9.4% in a single year and up 34% in 4 years. And here's the number that actually matters: 508 houses sold. That is a massive amount of volume, and it tells you that it is not a fluke. And the word fluke matters because here is how I built the whole list. I threw out every tiny town where 2 house sales were swinging the average, because that's not a trend. That's just noise. Every town I'm naming today has real sales behind it. So when a town moves 508 houses in a year and the price is still climbing, that's a deep, real market with a lot of people wanting in. And homes there sat about 17 days. 17 days on market. That's fast. In a slow town, houses sit for months. In a town that's heating up, they're gone in a couple weeks. And 17 days is a couple weeks. And here's the whole game with a video like this. Everybody wants to buy in the hot town. The problem is, by the time the town is obviously hot, by the time it's on every list and everybody's talking about it, the deal is already gone. You paid for the buzz instead of the growth. The move is to get in right before the town that's already climbing, but the crowd hasn't fully shown up to it yet. That's every town on this list today. So why is Southington about to keep going? Because it's got a lot of things that help it hold value. A real downtown, an actual main street you can walk, the Farmington Canal Rail running right through it, and it straddles Interstate 84, so it's commutable in 2 directions, towards Hartford, towards Waterbury. Here's the mistake people make with a town like Southington. They look at it and think, well, it's already discovered. I missed it. And you're half right. It's discovered, but it's discovered and it's not done climbing yet. There's 2 different things. The volume here tells me it still has a lot of runway left. I'll give you another way to think about it. A town that sells 508 houses in a year is not a town that's about to run out of buyers. It's a town with a deep bench. Discovered towns with deep benches keep climbing for years because there's always another wave of people who just found it. The towns that top out are the little ones where the buyer pool's thin. Southington's pool is enormous. If you want help figuring out whether a town like this still has room to run for your budget, that's the kind of thing I do every single day. Hold on to that thought, and I'm going to tell you exactly how to do it in a minute. Number 6, Wallingford. Median last year was $395,000, just under $400,000, but it's up 10.2% in a year and 41% over 4 years. And 381 homes sold with an average of just 15 days on market. 15 days, let that sink in. Wallingford last year, the average house went under contract in about 2 weeks. This is a town where buyers are fighting. And that kind of speed does not happen in a town that's cooling off. It happens in a town that's heating up. Wallingford gives you a lot for that under $400,000 price. It's got a great downtown. It's got a train station on the line between New Haven and Hartford. It's got a strong reputation, and it sits right in the middle of everything in the New Haven-Hartford corridor. And there's real character to Wallingford. That's what keeps people coming back here once they land. So many people sell in Wallingford and buy again in Wallingford. It's got one of the more walkable old main streets in the area, and it's the kind of place where people put down roots and they don't leave. Low turnover in a desirable town is part of why the inventory stays so tight and the prices are firming up. When people live here and don't want to sell, and people outside want to move in, there's only one direction for the prices to go, and that's always up. Here's what I want you to notice, and this is going to become a theme. The towns on the list that are moving fastest are the ones with a train, with a downtown, with a middle of everything location, and that's not a coincidence. Write that down because it's how you are going to spot the next one yourself. Number 5, Portland. The median last year was 412,500, up 12.2% in a single year and up 45% over 4 years. But here's the number that made me put Portland on the list. The months of supply, 1. Let me explain why that's a big deal. The month's supply is how long it would take to sell every house currently for sale if no new ones came on the market. A balanced market is around 5 or 6 months. And again, Portland is at 1 month. That means there's almost nothing for sale and there are plenty of buyers who want in. That is the tightest kind of market there is, and tight supply with real demand is exactly what pushes prices up. So what is Portland? It sits right across from the Connecticut River with Middletown, so you get a quieter, smaller town with a bridge that's just nice and close to a real city with restaurants and jobs and a university. You get the quiet and the access at the same time. And people are starting to figure that out. And there's also nothing for sale. That's a price about to move. And Portland has its own thing going on. It's not just the Middletown suburb. It's got the old brownstone quarries, which are actually a national landmark. And one of them just got turned into an adventure park with cliff jumping, zip lines, paddleboarding, all right inside the same spot. So you're not trading character for quiet. You actually get both. Have you noticed a pattern yet? Every town so far is near a city, near a highway or a train. It's running low on inventory. That's the recipe. So keep watching because the number one on my list is the purest version of it on the whole list. Number 4, Plymouth. Plymouth keeps showing up on a lot of these lists that I do. Last year, the median was 344,000, and let's look at the growth. It's up 14.7% in a single year and 53% in 4 years. Think about that. Somebody who bought in Plymouth in 2021 has watched their home value climb more than half, and the median is still only 344,000, which means you can still get in here at a price that works for almost any budget on this channel. Plymouth sits up in Litchfield County, and it used to be called the Clock Town because a guy named Eli Terry built clocks here 2 centuries ago, and every house in America ended up with one of them. That history is still backed into the identity of this place, and here's why Plymouth is about to keep climbing more. It's affordable in a state where affordability is getting very hard to find. It's within reach of the Waterbury and Bristol job centers. And when a town has already proven it can grow 53% and it's still on the cheap side, the runway is long. Cheap plus proven growth is a combination that you want to buy in on. And I'm here to tell you what's really happening in towns like Plymouth. When the towns around it get expensive, buyers don't leave the area. They slide one town over. Waterbury and Bristol and the towns near them have been climbing for a while. And Plymouth is right there. It's cheaper. It's connected by the same roads. That spillover is the exact force that turns cheap towns into not so cheap towns. And it's already in motion here. You can watch it in the 53% number. That right there, number 4, that's the exact kind of town people email me about. But they do it too late. They say they saw it on a list somewhere and then it moved. Don't be a year late on this one. Go look at properties in Plymouth now. But real quick, while we're right in the heart of my list, if any of this is landing for you and you want somebody who actually pulls these numbers and these towns and these streets to help you figure out your move, that is exactly what my team of agents do. Call me, text me, click the link down below to book your free relocation Zoom meet. You could go on our website, search all CT Homes, and let's get this process started for you with one of our amazing agents. We do it every single day, and it is our passion. Number 3, Thomaston. Median last year in Thomaston was 338,500, up 21.8% in a single year. That is the biggest one-year jump of any town on my list, and it's up 48% over the last 4 years. And I'm going to be straight with you about this one. That means something. Thomaston is a town that I drive through, a town that I know, and a town that I love to watch and show houses in. Thomaston is small. It is a real Connecticut town. It has the Thomaston Opera House right in the middle of it. This beautiful old building still runs shows. It has the Naugatuck River. It has trails. It has genuine small town Main Street, and it's not fake. It's just always been there. And it's named after Seth Thomas, the clockmaker. Same clockmaking history as the whole part of the state. There's a real identity here, a real sense of place. It's not a subdivision somebody drew up 10 years ago. It is a town with real history. And here's a fact that gets me every time. The Seth Thomas company that the town is named after, they made the clock that hangs in Grand Central Terminal in New York City. The one over the information booth that millions of people have stood under, that everybody takes a picture of, that everybody says, meet me under the clock. That clock came out of this little town in Connecticut. And when the town library needed help paying off its debt back in 1906, the money came from Andrew Carnegie himself. The town of 9,000 people has fingerprints on some of the most famous things in all of the United States. Here's what I see living in this area that you don't see from a spreadsheet. The people moving in are people who got priced out of the towns closer to the shoreline and closer to the city, and they came inland and found out they could get a real house with a real yard for a number that stunned them. Every one of them has the same reaction. They can't believe their money can buy so much up here. And every one of them tells me the same thing. That word of mouth is what a 21.8% jump looks like from the inside. And here's the thing. A 21.8% jump in a year in a town this size, that means people are discovering it in real time. That's happening right now. And the median is still only 338,500, which is remarkable considering how fast it's climbing. When the fastest growing town on your list is also one of the cheapest, that is the definition of early. It is a town that I see so much potential on. I'm telling you right now, don't sleep on it. Number 2, New Britain. Hard-hitting New Britain. Last year, median sales price $300,000. And I know some of you just heard New Britain and made a face. So stay with me because the numbers are going to change your mind on this one. It's up 11% in a year and 58% over 4 years with just under 400 houses sold. So this is a huge, deep market, growing fast, and the median sales price is $300,000. That's the lowest number on the entire list. Here's what people get wrong about New Britain. They wrote it off years ago and they never looked at it again. Meanwhile, it's got Central Connecticut State University. It's got the CT Fast Track Busway straight into Hartford. It has real museums. It's got Walnut Hill Park, designed by the same guy that designed Central Park. And it has genuinely beautiful old housing at prices that don't exist anywhere near the shoreline. And there's an art museum, the New Britain Museum of American Art. And here's the thing most people don't know. It was the first museum in the entire country dedicated to American art. The first one anywhere. And it was in New Britain. The downtown has been getting real investment. And there's a whole neighborhood called Little Poland on Broad Street, one of the biggest Polish communities in all of America, with the bakeries and the restaurants where all the food is authentic. This is not a town with nothing going on. It's a town where a lot of people stopped paying attention and it quietly got better. Think about the busway for a second because it's underrated. CT Fast Track runs from New Britain straight to Hartford on its own dedicated road. No traffic. So somebody working in Hartford can live in New Britain, buy it $300,000, and have a commute that's more reliable than half the people paying twice as much to live closer. 58% growth in 4 years on a $300,000 median is not a town that's dying. That's a town that's turning, and the people buying in now at $300,000 are the ones who are going to look smarter later. The biggest gains almost always come from places everybody already dismissed. And that's exactly where this town is. So number one, the one that data likes the most, before I give it to you, if you're serious about getting into one of these towns before the windows close, don't do it alone. Don't do it from a website. Call the team at Dave Jones Realty. That's why we are here. Number one is Cromwell. Median sales price last year was $377,000. That was just under $380,000, up 18.5% in a single year. And here's the number that puts it on the top. 66% growth in 4 years. That is the biggest 4-year run of any real high-volume town in the entire list today. And that is not a tiny town where the number's a fluke. 208 houses sold here last year. So this is a deep, real market that climbed 66% in 4 years. And it still came in under $380,000. So let me put this in plain terms. Somebody who bought a house in Cromwell in 2021 for a median price of $227,000 built $150,000 in equity. It's up to $377,500. That's real money in just 4 years in a town most people out of state have never heard of. And here's a piece of Cromwell almost nobody knows. This town was once the rose capital of the entire country. There was a man named Andrew Pearson, a Swedish immigrant, who started a little flower nursery here in 1870, and it grew to the largest commercial rose growing operation in all of America. They were shipping millions of roses a year out of Cromwell. People called him the Rose King of America, and the town still gets called Rose City to this day. The old worker houses he built are still standing in the main street on a historic district. You drive right past them and you would never know the history. Oh, and the town itself, it's named after Oliver Cromwell, the English guy. And there was a company here that made the first toy cap gun in the country. The little town has more history packed into it than towns 10 times its size. But here's what you really need to know about Cromwell, and I'm going to be honest with you. Cromwell is tough right now. It's hard to buy here right now. I got a buddy, Steve, one of my close friends. He's been trying to buy in Cromwell, and he's not messing around. He's putting in strong offers. He's submitting love letters. They're competitive, way over asking, waiving inspections. He's been outbid 3 times. And these were not lowball offers. They were aggressive. This is my best shot offers. And he still lost. That's what a hot town looks like on the inside. That's not a number on the screen. That's my friend who I want to get a house losing 3 houses in a row because there are 5, 6, and in one case, 12 other people that wanted the same house. So when I tell you Cromwell is about to keep climbing, I'm not guessing. I'm watching. I'm showing. I have boots on the ground. It happens to people I know. And that's why you don't go into a town like this alone and unprepared. In a market this tight, the buyer who's ready, financing locked, the agent who knows the town, ready to move the day it lists, that's the buyer who's got a good shot. The one who wants to sleep on it will lose every single time. So why is Cromwell about to keep going? Everything we talked about in this whole video, Cromwell has all of it. And it sits right on the Connecticut River. It's just north of Middletown. It has quick access to 91, so if you have to go to Hartford, it's a straight shot. Or if you have to go down to New Haven, you're super quick. It's got 1.8 months supply, which is very tight. It's got that price under $400,000 in a spot that connects you to everything. And Cromwell has some specific things pulling people in. There is a major golf resort there, TPC River Highlands. It hosts the PGA Tour every single year, the Traveler Championship. It's got a name and an identity above just being a place to go to sleep. There's riverfront, there's wildlife. It's right on the Connecticut River. There's real shopping, real dining all along Route 372. It's close enough to Hartford and that job market. The commute is easily doable, but it's far enough south to feel like its own place. That's a genuinely strong position, and the market has clearly noticed. Just ask my buddy Steve. Remember the recipe I told you to write down back at Wallingford? Trainer Highway, downtown center, middle of everything, tight supply. For Cromwell, check, 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 and check. That's not me finding a story to fit the number. That's the number and the story pointing at the same direction, which is exactly what you want to see before you invest in a town. It's the whole recipe in one town. Central location, easy highways, tight supply, real volume, proven growth, and a price that could still work for you. That's why the data likes it more than anything else on this list, and that's why I think at $377,500, it's a number you're going to look back on and wish you acted on. If you're planning on making a move on any of these, do me a favor, do yourself a favor, make it before 2027, not after, because the whole point of this list is the window is open right now, but it's not going to stay open. The numbers I read you are last year's numbers, but by the time next year's report comes out, these towns will have moved again. And the ones that look early today will look obvious then. Early is uncomfortable because it feels like you're guessing, but early is the only time the prices still are on your side. Obvious is when you overpay. And look, if you want to see the towns that already blew up, the ones that led the whole state in growth last year, I made a video about that too. The top 10 Connecticut towns everybody is moving to. And the most watched video on my channel, click right here and I'll meet you over there.